It's important to have fully developed dough to build strength in your product. If your dough is underdeveloped, you will have a lack of strength, which will result in flat products and different shaped products. That's why it's important to have a fully developed dough. The dough temperature should be ideally between 75 and 80 degrees. At that temperature, the dough will start to move, the yeast will be activated, but if it's too cold, it will take too long to proof. If it's too hot, it'll proof too fast, and you will also get a lack of strength in your dough. Bench time is important because it develops crumb structure depending on the product. If you're making a ciabatta, you normally bench time or bulk fermentate for 60 to 90 minutes, which gives it a lot of gas and open crumb structure. For rolls or dinner rolls or smaller products, you need anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes for that denser product. Time is the essence of good bread. The proper molding of dough is important to get the shape that you desire. A tight mold is also important to give you strength and structure of your product. It's very important to cover your bread while it's in the retarder. Otherwise, your dough will get a crust on it. Once you have a crust on your dough, it'll be very hard to proof, and you'll get a very irregular look when you bake. After your bread comes out of the retarder, the floor time should be approximately 1 hour or until the bread gets to room temperature. If you put the bread in the proof box out of the retarder, you're liable to get condensation on the bread, which will give it an irregular crust color and irregular proof in the proof box. A good way to know that your proofing is complete is the finger test. Press down on your dough, and if it comes back slowly, it's usually ready to go. If you press down and it comes back very quickly, it's usually not ready and it needs some more proofing. But if you press down and it stays down and doesn't come back at all, you're probably a little overproofed. There's many factors that come into baking bread and the amount of time it takes. One of them being ingredients. If you have high sugar, it will bake quickly, so you need a lower temperature. One way of knowing when bread is done is to take the temperature of the internal temperature of the bread. It should be 200 degrees or more, and then your bread is finished, done. It's important to let bread cool before bagging so it's safe for your people to bag and for the people to handle. For soft products, they should be cooled for 60 minutes at the minimum. You should have an internal temperature of 100 degrees or less so you don't have condensation in your bags. Crusty products can be bagged probably after 30 minutes in paper or perforated bags. Once you open a bag of Authentic and you're finished using it, close the bag and put it in your refrigerator. It should be good for 7 to 14 days. Authentic is not for only one recipe. You can make baguettes, specialty breads, pretty much anything you want to make. Use your imagination. If you're going to retard your bread, put it into the retarder right away after molding. Do not cover it with the rack cover. Let it sit for about an hour to get cool. If you put a rack cover on and put it right into the retarder, it will continue to proof because the dough temperature is still around 75 degrees. We start with a higher oven temperature to get the jump of the bread. It ensures quality and a better finished product. The reason we add flour to the wet inclusions, like the olives and jalapeno peppers, is to allow it to get more pasty so it sticks to the dough. If you put it in without adding the flour to the ingredients, then you're going to get a sloppy dough, which is very hard to mix. So it helps you out a lot if you add the flour to those ingredients.